game under George Burley tonight. It's Scotland against Croatia. Let's join Davy Provan and Bill Leslie.
Well, it looks like he's set out his stall to have a go, George Burley, an attacking-looking formation for the Scottish national side up against one of the finalists of Euro 2008, the side that doubled England in qualification and knocked out the old enemy at Wembley back in November. A good way for Scotland in their first outing since they came so close here against Italy. That's some 4 months ago now to get back to winning ways and start to focus on the task ahead. Qualification for the World Cup in 2010, of course, gets underway in earnest come September. Croatia have more pressing issues on their mind. They're looking to use this game as a real dress rehearsal, one of a few cluster of friendly fixtures that they have between now and their involvement when they kick off Euro 2008 against Austria in June. First word from Davy Provan on the way that Scotland has set up here tonight.
Well, I think just as Paul Lambert suggested, the two white players, Sean Maloney and Stephen Fletcher, are going to drop off. I don't think George Burley could afford to play three up against a side of this quality. And it's certainly going to be a big test. Great to see Croatia back in Glasgow, always great value.
And in many ways, what Slaven Bilic has achieved with Croatia can prove to be a blueprint of what George Burley can hope to achieve with Scotland, a country of similar populations and footballing resources. And you look at Croatia's qualification record, it is very impressive. 6 of the last 7 tournaments, they have found themselves at the finals. Just Euro 2000, the only blip in an otherwise flawless landscape. And in fact, you look back, the last time that Scotland were at a major championships, Croatia hit the heights, Davor Šuker driving them to 3rd place in World Cup 1998. It's a country with fine pride and footballing pedigree as well. Also with a pretty settled side, which saw them navigate what looked a tricky qualification group. 12 games they played in qualification, just 1 defeat, and a blip when it was as good as taken care of. And they lost away in Macedonia. It was Mladen Petric, the player who scored the 3rd at Wembley.
I think you can see here, Bill, as the game starts to settle, it's a cautious Scottish formation. George Burley trying to sell it to us as a 4-3-3, but it's 4-1-4-1 really, with Paul Hartley sitting just in front, and Kenny Miller really up on his own. They'll try and get support to him from both the wide areas and from Darren Fletcher, who's playing central. But unsurprisingly, George Burley declining the opportunity to open up too much against this Croatian side.
Well, no doubt about it. When this fixture was arranged as his baptism as Scotland manager, he'd have had a look at the game against England and seen how they were torn apart by a technically superior Croatian side on their home soil at Wembley. Don't want to fall into the same trap here. Always a difficult blend to find, isn't it? The balance between defence and attack. Scotland coming so close over their qualification process over the last couple of seasons. Here's Modric spraying the ball around early on. He's absolutely key to the way Croatia play.
Just a stumble there from Stephen Fletcher. I've got to say, I think Fletcher's perhaps the victim of this Scottish shape here tonight. I was hoping to see him play up front alongside Kenny Miller. I think he is a natural centre forward. He links the play well, takes the ball in. And I'm not convinced he's going to be at his most productive playing wide left.
Early days, but Croatia already seeing plenty of possession. Here's their captain, Niko Kovac.
Well, even this early, Croatia having just about all of the ball, and there's no real surprise there. Given the technical ability of this side, anybody who saw the game at Wembley won't be surprised that they're going to have most of the ball this evening.
Well, he was punchy in his pre-match press briefing, Slaven Bilic, saying they're going to approach this as if it was a competitive game. They don't have a lot of time to fine-tune things between now and the European Championships. And, of course, this is the first outing since that awful injury to Eduardo, and they've got to try and fill the gap that his absence will leave. 13 goals in 22 internationals the Brazilian-born Croat has provided in recent seasons since he was elevated to full national status by Slaven Bilic, as was this young man Modric. It's Olic now. He won't want to back off Ivica Olic, which is exactly what Scotland do. Fletcher back there doing the defensive work. Now Modric. Caldwell waits for Gordon to come up, and he duly obliges.
I think you're dead right, Bill. I think we saw in that game at Wembley that you don't want to back off them at all. Any encouragement, and they'll be trying to get a shot on target from anywhere between 30 yards and our goal mouth.
Hartley. Well, first hurdle negotiated for Scotland, and that was not to concede as early as they did in their last match here, that heartbreaker against Italy. Brown. And Hartley. Gary Caldwell, his first Hampden start since his heroics here, scoring the winner against France. David Weir preferred to him, but one of the Rangers rested here this evening. Brown. And Darren Fletcher, who provided everyone in the Scottish camp with a boost, declaring himself fit after coming off his sickbed. This Manchester United's win over Liverpool last weekend due to a virus that laid him low. Cut out by Scott Brown, who's operating in that engine room. Big evening for him after a season of criticism, but certainly some quarters have been rounding on him in recent weeks for performances for club. Caldwell looking for Fletcher. That's somewhere where he might be able to of use.
He might get a bit of joy because he's good in the air, and coming in off the angle there to jump against the fullback, he'll win his share, that's for sure. But I think he'd been happier if he'd been told he was playing more as an old-fashioned centre forward alongside Kenny Miller tonight.
Kranjčar. Olic, back to the Portsmouth man, one of two Premier League-based players. The majority of this Croatian side actually play their club football in the Bundesliga, including the two strikers. Ivica Olic gingerly picks himself up. He's at Hamburg, and Mladen Petric, third top scorer in the German league. He is with Borussia Dortmund. Naismith. Fletcher. Naismith. Looking for Kenny Miller. The call came from Daniel Pranjic, the least experienced player in this Croatian side.
I don't think he knew what was going on behind his back there. Sean Maloney had stayed in the wide area. I don't think he got a call from his goalkeeper. They actually had time to bring the ball down. But the one thing that we do know about Croatia is that right across the back, they're all very comfortable on the ball. They can all bring it out and make a pass.
Mentioned already the debutant Stephen Fletcher, but comparatively this is an inexperienced Scotland side. We'll just look at the number of caps that both respective countries have as he busts the gut to keep it in and does well, but Kenny Miller unable to control it. Alan Hutton steaming forward well.
Well, it's a great example of Alan Hutton's mobility, and I think at times both Sean Maloney and Fletcher will tuck in and leave the space for the fullbacks to get into, and once again Alan Hutton needs no encouragement. Not convinced the whole ball was out.
His seventh cap tonight, and just going back to the difference between the experience of the two sides, 6 of this Croatian starting lineup have over 50 caps. 8 of this Scottish side have under 30. Brown. Maloney selling Hutton short. Picked up by Petric. Here's Olic. Modric should be able to keep this in for Croatia. Assistance behind him from Vedran Čoluka of Manchester City. One of the ever-presence in Croatia's qualification campaign. Niko Kovac winning his 75th cap tonight to Kranjčar. Modric. Measured possession from the guests here. Kranjčar fizzed into Olic, who looked for the turn. Hartley back to tidy up.
Well, dealt with it eventually. Almost a costly first touch there from Paul Hartley, just a little bit heavy. Managed to see out, but Scotland very, very deep here.
Kranjčar. Oh, fantastic goal from Kranjčar, and Scotland trail within the first 10 minutes.
Well, they've invited Croatia onto it, and I've got to say it's a magnificent finish. And it just dips over Craig Gordon. He knew very little about it. And he got time to get on the half-turn there, Kranjčar. And did he get his foot through or what? Ball sat up just a fraction, which helped him get through it. Well, Craig Gordon didn't even bother diving. He knew that the minute he left Kranjčar's foot, he was done there.
The player who scored at Wembley to open the scoring there against England does exactly the same at Hampden Park. His first goal since then. George Burley had hopes as to how his first game in charge would go. I'm sure that this scenario pretty low down in the way that he would have wanted to play it.
I think the one thing you'll be thinking here, Bill, is that we have a lot of players go side there, and yet nobody gets out to squeeze the ball. Scott Brown trying to apply a little bit of pressure, but the moment Kranjčar gets on the half-turn, nobody's getting out to make a block.
Joluka, Modric, Kranjčar. Kranjic, Simunic, the Australian-born Croat, classily beyond Fletcher. These are worrying times for Scotland because it's looking very, very fluent every time Croatia are on the ball. Broken up by Fletcher, looking for Miller. Simunic, usually employed at fullback by Slaven Bilic, but the rested Dario Simic tonight means that Simunic has gone into the middle. Modric. Kranjic. Finding it hard to get close to the Croatian players at the moment, the men in dark blue. And they have possession back here through Hartley. Captain McManus. Hartley. Brown. Fletcher dropping deep to try and provide the platform for attack. There he is again, the Manchester United man, and Miller has timed this run well. Kenny Miller might need some help.
Don't think he had any support. He had a look up there. Sean Maloney trying to get himself into the penalty spot area, but was just a little bit short of yards there. That's why Kenny Miller checked out. Timed his run well here, Kenny Miller. He's onside, has a little glance up here. Not a blue jersey in sight, that's why he checked out.
We'll call it 4-3-3, call it 4-5-1. Support into the box is vital, and that's just what Darren Fletcher tried to provide there. Here's the goal scorer, Kranjčar. Fletcher. Maloney. A foul by Modric.
I'm not convinced. I thought he took plenty of the ball there. Referee well positioned though. Only 10 yards or so away. Certainly got his studs onto the ball. First chance though to see if Gary Caldwell, Stephen McManus can get any joy here, and of course Stephen Fletcher. Very decent in there as well.
Well, up for the element of surprise, and Kenny Miller. Scotland's first corner of the evening.
Well, he's getting a bit of joy, Kenny Miller. First in the left-hand channel, now on the other side, not picked up. Unusually, Croatia go completely to sleep at the set piece.
Maloney will deliver for Scotland here. Not dealt with immediately by Croatia, eventually hoisted clear. Up towards Olic, who's the only man left upfield for the visitors here. Naismith, last man back for Scotland. Picked out Maloney well. Overlap from Alan Hutton, who should get there, does. Solid defending to deny him.
Another good offer from Alan Hutton. Good defending by the centre-back. Simonet to get out very quickly to make sure it wasn't coming across goal. And if there is encouragement for George Burley, it's Alan Hutton down this right-hand side.
Fruitless from Naismith as he looked long. Almost quarter of an hour into match number one, and goal number one conceded, and a fine strike it was by Nico Kranjčar.
I think, to be fair to George Burley, he's inherited, well, a long-standing problem we've had in this Scotland side is that we have no pace at the back, and we can't get our defenders up to the halfway line and close it up. We tend to sit a little bit deep. And once again, we were punished for that at the goal.
Hutton. Caldwell. Naismith. The Slaven Bilic revolution for Croatia has been quite exceptional. Qualified but disappointed at World Cup 2006 as Miller wins a free kick, but he revolutionised the way they play, gone to a flat back four, and it has been very successful.
An example of the aggression of this Croatia side. The one thing that Scotland won't do with this team is bully them physically.
Madison, Caldwell make their way forward. Maloney charged with picking them out. Rain falling slightly harder, if anything, over Hampden. Maloney, that's zipped off the head of the defender.
That's a good ball in, typical Sean Maloney ball. I'm doing at a really nice height here. If there's a Scottish head on that, they just have to try and use the pace help onto the target.
Asked a few questions from the last corner, Sean Maloney. See what he can do this time. The centre-halves predictably have stayed forward. Fletcher won't keep it in, though. Now, for those who've monitored Scotland's friendlies here at Hampden, might not be a surprise to see that they trail here. It's not the most auspicious of records at the National Stadium in meaningless matches, comparatively. Non-competitive matches, I should say. Miller trying to burst his way beyond the last Croatian defences.
Well, it looks very lively, Kenny Miller, just outnumbered there, and that's going to be the story of the night, I think. It could be a long evening for him. He's playing against the two centre-backs. Sometimes they hold back four on his own at times.
Scotland seeking the equaliser. Miller. Maloney. Wanted too much time, was never going to get it. That was the centre forward, Ivica Olic, taking it off the toes of Sean Maloney. Naismith. Hutton. Can he halt the run without a win in a friendly match here? 12 years, 1996, the last time that Scotland won a friendly international on this ground. Ali McCoist scoring the winner against Australia. 9 matches since then, all winless.
I think we have to remember tonight the call-offs that he's had to deal with, and in many respects he's been hung out to dry here by the scheduling of the Old Firm game next weekend.
Certainly struggled to occupy the footballing agenda in this city in the build-up to the match, this particular outing for the national side, as the domestic season reaches a climax. And it's all par for the course for an international manager, isn't it? The old club against country debate seems to perpetually resurface. Caldwell. Pressure applied by Mladen Petric. Modric. Partly strong-armed out of the way by Ilic, who's picked out Petric. Now Modric. Luka. Niko Kovac.
Well, we're getting a little bit more of the ball. Could do with a little bit more action in front of their goal.
Brown. Miller. Here's Simunic. Pranjic. And Kranjčar. Highly coveted Luka Modric. Probably read plenty of stories doing the rounds as to which club he will be moving to and when. Premier League clubs constantly linked with this young man who ducks away from Brown beautifully and provides some excellent ammunition for Ilic.
Terrific piece of football. The weight and the pass forward is absolutely magnificent. And Ilic just playing it across goal, hoping that Petric's strike partner's arriving. And what a pass slid up the outside of Gary Caldwell.
Right on cue, wasn't it? It is to demonstrate why so many have such high opinions of this young man, still in his early 20s. And along with Luka at right back and the absent Eduardo, the three players who were introduced to the national side when Bilic took over. He was, after all, in charge of the under-21s of Croatia before. And they have proved to be glistening additions. Incidentally, Dinamo Zagreb, where Modric does play his club football, have signed him up to a new contract to 2015 and insist he's going nowhere.
Well, it's the weight of the pass here that gives Gary Caldwell a real problem. Ilic makes the run, he knows the ball is going to arrive. He doesn't have time really to look up here, just plays it across, hoping that Petric is arriving at the penalty spot. And with one sublime pass, Scotland opened up.
Here he is again, Modric. Just bounced up off his hand, though. Fletcher. Just got caught up under his feet as he tried to dig it out, and it's back in Croatian hands. This is a great run by Ilic. Great ball to pick him out as well. Again, the support lacking for the ball squared by the big striker.
Well, again, the lack of pace in our two centre-backs, painfully exposed there. Another terrific ball forward. Almost a rerun of the pass just a moment ago. Just surprised he didn't try to get the shot away there, Ilic.
Almost like a mirror image, wasn't it, on the other side of the field?
Yeah, it's a small target from that angle. He doesn't have an awful lot to hit, but there's no support. But again, he makes the run, and again the ball arrives with perfect weight on it.
Worked out what will worry Scotland, and again attempting to slide it in behind McManus. Hutton. Hartley. Scott Brown. Caldwell looking for the ever-mobile Miller, who's won a free kick from Simunic.
Well, he's ever-willing Kenny Miller once again. Any time our back four have the ball, Kenny Miller is making him an offer. And it's no more than you'd expect from Kenny Miller, who has been a terrific servant for the last few Scotland managers.
And under various managers over recent months, we've seen these sort of situations exploited. Maloney, Miller.
Just gets a bit too much on it. Just looking to get a little nick on it there. Again, it comes in at a nice height from Sean Maloney.
Although it didn't feature here against Italy, he's still got a pretty impressive goal-scoring record for Scotland. It's 8 in his last 15 international matches. season of frustration for him since moving south of the border to Derby County, but certainly one of several important contributions to the qualification calls last time out.
I think his job would be a lot easier, Bill, if he had a little bit of company up there. There may come a time in the game where George Burley goes to 4-4-2 and puts Fletcher through the middle at the moment. Stephen Fletcher playing in the edges of the game as a left midfield player.
Here he is now, Fletcher. Gianluca operating very close to Scotland's birthday boy debutant. Hutton. If anything, grown in confidence and in stature since his move to the Premier League. Works out rather better than Kenny Miller's. Here he is now, Hutton. Way beyond Pranjic. Again, composure from Modric, and he looks for the pass. He finds the pass, just zips away though from Olic on the sodden Hampden turf.
I think Craig Gordon knows though that the two centre-backs are going to be done here with the ball over the top. He's going to have to play in the edge of his box.
Kenny Miller. Here's Hartley. Brown. Neatly worked move by Scotland, but up goes the flag.
That's a pity because he's not picked up Alan Hutton. He's looking across the line. Certainly looked offside. If he just holds a little bit, he's in there.
Here's Pranjic. Now Gianluca. Modric able to smuggle it through to Dario Serna. He was caught late by Hartley. Not the first time this season that those two have locked horns. They met in the Champions League.
Paul Hartley owes him one. Certainly a bit of payback there. This is a competitive game. That's a yellow card. Referee doing him a favour.
Norwegian referee here, Terje Haug. Scotland will have happy memories of him refereeing here at the National Stadium as well. He was in charge of that 1-0 win against Holland in the qualification playoff a few years back now. Šimunić. Alan Hutton. Robert Kovac. Gianluca. And Modric. Pranjic. And Modric able to open it up to Kranjčar. He spots Gianluca sneaking forward down the right. Now Serna. It's good build-up play from Croatia, using the full width of the pitch here at Hampden. Pranjic. Four waiting in the middle. Kranjčar. On by Kovac. It's a terrific move by Croatia. They get an end product to it.
Well, I think they're showing us just exactly what expansive football is. Bill, as you said, you know, they switch it continually, they make the pitch wide. All the time they're moving our defenders, making them work. And the ball is a prisoner when they have it.
No wonder he looks relaxed and happy. As you'd expect. I mentioned before the pride of the nation, fiercely patriotic, and They're quite content to play the underdogs. They don't want to be seen as favourites in any means for the European Championships, but no doubt about it, they do have a chance. In a group with Austria, Germany and Poland. They can get out of that, who knows what will happen. Kranjčar, worrying amounts of space from a Scottish perspective. Fletcher for Miller. Naismith. Stephen Fletcher. Miller capitalising on a mistake. He's on his own though. Can he finish it off here? Kenny Miller! Oh yes! Scotland level through Kenny Miller.
Well, he's the one who's looked most likely for Scotland, and once again he's willing to run the channel. It's a bad mistake by Robert Kovacs here. Miller's certainly onside. Simonic tries to get across, and I think we'll see it's a deflection off the number 3 here that takes it past Pletikosa. But it's certainly a break that Kenny Miller has so far worked for in this game. He's been the most likely in blue, and at last we get that little bit of luck. And I think we're certainly going to need it against this side tonight.
The goal-scoring account under the new Scotland manager is open, and it has been opened by Kenny Miller. Just as Croatia were looking so comfortable, Kenny Miller sprung up to score his first Hampden goal since he bagged one here against Ukraine in that important win.
Tell you what, he's got some good scalps in this ground, Kenny Miller. Italy, Germany, Croatia. Big play for Scotland.
Hartley. Caldwell. Alan Hutton. Dancing beyond the challengers, Alan Hutton. Oh, touchdown by Fletcher.
Well, it's the first time that Fletcher has managed to take part in the central area. Comes right in off the left-hand side. The ball in from Alan Hutton finds him, but that's an awful lot of him to take the pace out and get it down in front of Kenny Miller. But good to see Fletcher in beside Kenny Miller in that central area.
Well, Scotland have come alive, no doubt about that. The goal having the galvanising effect that the new manager would hope it would. Darren Fletcher. Paul Hartley. Šimunić. And Robert Kovac, the 4th most capped Croatian of all time, winning his 75th cap tonight, made the error on which Kenny Miller and Scotland were able to capitalise. Scott Brown. Fletcher. The free kick is Croatia's.
A little tug there from Stephen Fletcher, but just good to see him getting involved. The early part of the game he spent out on the left-hand touchline, and now he's getting involved in the play where it really counts.
Modric. Kranjčar. Kranjčar. Croatia injecting a little bit of pace into the attack. Kranjčar has fallen nicely for him. This time Gordon is the measure of the Croatian goalscorer.
Oh, it's effortless the way he makes the space. It's a little nutmeg here on Darren Fletcher that takes him clear. I don't think Craig Gordon saw that to the very last moment as it comes round Stephen McManus. It's an awkward one, bounces just in front of the Scotland goalkeeper. Took it in well.
Caldwell. Hutton. Kranjčar backs off. Bides his time. A little battle between the two full-backs down this near side of the field. Here's Brown. McManus looking for Miller again, just a little bit too much on it that time.
Well, again, he'll make that run all night. And when he did make the run, he certainly made it count here. Probably wasn't counting on the mistake from Robert Kovacs. And the deflection here off Simonic did him a major turn there. Goalkeeper's already on the floor as it comes off, I think, the studs of Simonic here. But it's no more than Kenny Miller deserves. Once again, he's offered himself continually making these runs.
9 in 16 for his country now. In the last 16, of course, 11 in total it takes his tally to. Without the top scorer playing international football at the moment, of course, James McFadden, after keyhole surgery in the last week or so, unavailable. Kranjčar. Hadn't read the danger that time. Niko Kovac, the brother of Robert, who made the slip, and a little flash point there. Typically, Scott Brown not far away from it.
Just the way Scott Brown plays, I think Gordon Strachan trying to temper that kind of challenge, and I think he is going to have to cool it. He's going to spend an awful lot of time in the stand if he doesn't.
He's got a domestic suspension in the SPL up and coming, hasn't it, having served some in the Champions League, missed that first leg against Barcelona, Scottish Cup as well. Kranjčar. Can get it onto that dangerous right foot. Here's Petric, who was an equally menacing left. Maloney. Brown. Closed out by 3 Croats, and here comes Kranjčar. 5 Scotland players back, but will that be enough? Modric. Niko Kovac to his older brother Robert. Luka. And Modric. Again, pinpoint with his accuracy. Kranjčar. Modric again sets his sights. Strokes it wide. Any chance he's had to try and make some sort of impact on the game, Stephen Fletcher, he's done his best. There's Simonic. Little zip away from Kranjčar.
Well, he made a good angle there, uncharacteristic. Heavy ball there.
Guest of honour of the SFA tonight, the former Scotland manager, Alex McLeish. Well, he got off to a winning start here against Georgia, and the first goal of his reign was scored by that man, yet again finding himself among the substitutes, Chris Boyd. Well, an impact he made off the bench though in his last trip to Hampden for Rangers, scoring a couple of goals in the League Cup final and scoring the winning penalty. Modric. Kranjčar. Pranjic. Niko Kranjčar. Niko Kovac. Kranjčar, unattended, had just drifted into the centre of the field. Here's Modric. The deflection really took any sort of pace off it.
Yeah, I came off Scott Brown, but you mentioned Kranjčar. He's the one who's getting the room, just in front of our back line. He's playing between our midfield and the front. And even Paul Hartley, who's sitting just in front, finding it hard to pick him up at times.
Šimunić did get the final touch after Kenny Miller's shot. Molio was hoping that Petric would be slightly more on his wavelength as he allowed it to run through. Šimunić. Kranjčar. Shackled by Brown, but there's Ivica Olic. A good Sunday of action for you up and coming on Sky Sports, starting with the Johnston's Paint Trophy final. Grimsby against MK Dons live from Wembley from 12:30, and then the Merseyside derby, Liverpool against Everton. Super Sunday, 3:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Well, it's been a good Scottish response to adversity, going behind in the first 10 minutes to Niko Kranjčar's superbly struck shot. But just after the half-hour mark, Kenny Miller levelling things up. And since then, a much more level playing field in all senses of the word. Fletcher. Mladen Petric has it back. Darren Fletcher trying to get in there, and in so doing, drawing the foul.
Gary Caldwell going up. Eventually Steve McManus going up as well. Maloney's done well in this situation so far in the game.
Stephen Fletcher couldn't get it away. Modric. There's McManus picking it up on his way back. Misplaced pass from Hutton. Collected by Olic. Here's Petric. They won't want to let him shoot on that left foot of his, and they've given away a free kick in a mightily menacing position. Yellow card for Scott Brown.
Well, so often slack square passes in your own half put you in trouble, and that was the case there when Alan Hutton, I don't know who he was trying to find in the central area. Scott Brown wrong side, can't make a clean tackle there, and this is well within range.
They have a host of dead ball specialists in their side as well, Croatia. Dario Serna, who has scored from midfield and fullback 15 goals for his country and just over 50 caps. He looks likely to take on the responsibilities here. And after the fight back in the last couple of minutes of the first half, Scotland are going to be the architects of falling behind again. It's a Serna strike, and it's a golden save.
Well, he takes it in well, Craig Gordon. He makes it look like an easy save. The important thing is here, there's no spillage. With Croatia following it in, 2 or 3 of them looking for a spill here. And once again, Craig Gordon takes it in well.
Kranjčar. Naismith. Both sides coming into this match with questions they were looking to answer. From Croatia's point of view, it was very much about how they were going to cope without a man so pivotal to the way they play, Eduardo. Had so many of the goals, second top scorer in qualifying for the European Championships behind Northern Ireland's David Healy. From Scotland's point of view, the questions was to how we would see a different approach, if at all, from George Burley.
I don't think it has been a different approach, and I've got to be honest with you, when I heard about 4-3-3 and this new expansive game, I took it with a pinch of salt. I think it will be more of the same.
Well, with the withdrawals and with the players available to him, he has to do the best he can. Speaking of players available to him, Scott Brown has gone down. Well, Niko Kovac, the Croatian captain, picking up a yellow card for the challenge on Brown.
Well, the same two players clashed just a moment ago there. Kovac just leaving his left foot in there. And Modric gets so much of the tension in that central midfield, but Niko Kovac does a super job for him, just sitting.
Half-time whistle goes as treatment is continued to be given to Scott Brown, worrying for country, even more so for club, with the Old Firm game coming at the weekend. It started off badly for George Burley, didn't it, with Nico Kranjčar's superbly struck goal, but Kenny Miller popped up to open the scoring for George Burley's reign, and at half-time on match one for the new manager, it is level at 1-1.
All set to go for the second half. It's 1-1. Let's rejoin Davey and Bill.
Thank you, Jim. As is often the way with these friendly internationals, when managers are able to make 6 changes apiece. Changes have been made at half-time. Not a whole host of them, just the one for Scotland. Stephen Fletcher, his debut comes to a premature end. We gather he's picked up a shoulder injury. So Gavin Ray back in the international setup. He was only a late call-up because of all the call-offs. He's thrown back and picks up another cap. And elsewhere for Croatia, their captain, Niko Kovac, who was involved in that altercation with Scott Brown at the end of the first half, withdrawn, and Onyan Vukojevic comes on for this second half. So one change apiece so far, one goal apiece in the third meeting between these two countries. Neither side yet to chalk up a victory. Both draws in the World Cup qualification campaign for Japan and South Korea back in 2002. Goalless here, 1-1 away in what was the last meeting. Can one or other of these two force the issue? Jorluka. As Croatia get on the front foot early on. It's looking awkward for Scotland at the back.
Well, Gavin Ray did well. Uncharacteristic mistake at the front post from Stephen McManus there. Looked favourite to clear. And got very little on this at the front post. Gavin Ray did well to squeeze. Gavin Ray's going to take his place in the centre of that midfield four now. The Scotland shape's not going to change. Scott Brown now going to play wide of the four. Sean Maloney now playing left. Ray and Fletcher between that pair, with Paul Hartley sitting.
Substitution for Croatia.
Gavin Ray back on the field for his country for the first time since the Kirin Cup, which preceded the start of the last qualification campaign. Surplus to requirements for all of the qualifiers and the friendlies as well, since he left Rangers and made the move to Cardiff. FA Cup semi-finalists with them, of course, this season. Here's Maloney. Maloney again.
Substitution for
Scott Brown on his left foot, takes the shot.
Well, he did well to spin, because I think Darren Fletcher is trying to feed it up the outside, the right-hand side of Scott Brown here. And he did brilliantly to spin very quickly and get the left foot shot away. Always moving left to right. But did well to get the shot away, and that's the kind of area that George Burley will want to see Scott Brown in.
Still looking for his first goal in 2008. All the 3 he's got for Celtic so far coming in the earlier part of the season. Here's Petric. It's got away from Hartley. Strong burst this from Petric, but Hartley's bitten back. Gets it back to Gordon. Šimunic. Kranjčar, dispossessed by Ray. Darren Fletcher, flicked by Miller. Here's Maloney. Offside flag thwarts Scottish dreams.
That's a pity. Kenny Miller playing out his skin for us tonight, really is. Lovely little flick here from Kenny Miller. Well, Sean Maloney's onside there is at worst his level. Far side assistant doing us no favours.
Petric. Away by Naismith. Kletikoša in the Croatian goal, and his second visit to Glasgow this season was part of that Spartak Moscow side, beaten by Celtic in the Champions League qualifiers. Also, incidentally, in the Croatia side, when they visited here for that World Cup qualifier I was just talking about back in 2000, the goalless draw. Vukojevic, known as Dinamo Zagreb's Gattuso in the heart of the midfield. That's the sort of role he plays for club, and indeed since his introduction for country as well. Makes the fair share of challenges to allow Modric to play. Two clubmates, so they'll know each other very well as well, exactly what makes one another tick. We've certainly seen enough from Modric so far to know exactly why he is such an important player for Croatia. Petric. Modric. Olic waits in the middle. Modric breezes beyond Brown again, but tenacity pays off. Vukojevic. Robert Kovac, who's taken over the captain's armband from his removed brother Nico. Vukojevic. Brown. Ray. Naismith. Fletcher neatly away from Vukojevic. Hutton. Looking for the free kick. Scotland then have to settle for the corner.
Well, good play. You know, terrific switch there to the far side from Darren Fletcher. Of the type that we've seen most of the night coming from the visiting side. And will always pose a risk at set pieces.
Scotland's first second-half corner. Centre halves are forward. Hutton at the near post, so too Miller. And that was an important block on the line there by Daniel Kranjčar.
Well, shades of his goal against Italy here a few years ago, half a yard on the defender.
And from the second corner, disappointment, breakdown in communication from the Scots. And the Croats look to break. Two places between them in the latest FIFA World Rankings, these two countries. Nothing between them with 51 minutes on the clock here at Hampden. Brown. Robert Kovac. Modric. Hartley collects it. Darren Fletcher. Miller. And he's won the free kick. It's like a man possessed, Kenny.
Yeah, he is. He's been terrific. And once again, he shows inside right channel, gets across Simovic. And he's certainly caught late here by Robert Kovac.
A season of frustration for club, and he's making it pay for country. With a virtuoso performance leading the line on his own up front, Kenny Miller. He's presented Scotland with this chance from a free kick. Maloney, who we've seen score for his country from similar sort of positions, set pieces. Remember the Faroe Islands away, tries to provide the ammunition this time.
It's not the worst ball, Bill. It's into a lovely area. Maybe just a little bit too much pace on it. But it's into a perfect area.
Looking beyond the European Championships in the summer, Croatia again have to play England in qualification for the World Cup 2010. They'll be looking to take something from playing against a British sort of a game here.
That's why they took on this game. I'm sure of that. Slaven Bilic may have said as much as well. But they've done us a favour by coming back to Glasgow.
Well, Scotland look at Holland and Norway in particular. Macedonia and Iceland, of course, need to be negotiated as well, and tricky trips to Reykjavik and Skopje to open their campaigns. But ultimately, I think, as Charlie said before, it's the games against Norway which will prove to be important, as will defending this whipped-in ball, which Hartley does at the near post. Hutton at the far, and Scott Brown. I know the Scottish medical staff were looking at him at half-time after the collision with Kovac, and we're going to assess him in the first 5 minutes or so this second half. Seems to be showing no ill effects, which is a positive medical report as far as Celtic are concerned.
Surprised Gordon Strachan wasn't on the phone to George Burley at half-time.
Four Rangers withdrawals, 4 Celtic players still out there having started the match. Lukojevic, Modric, beyond Ray, the referee coming to Scotland's aid only temporarily, and here's Petric, good touch to take him beyond Caldwell. And McManus holds him down and will pick up a yellow card.
Fabulous touch on the chest initially, and then he's away from Stephen McManus before he knew what had happened here. Lovely little touch on the half volley to take him past Stephen McManus. And the big centre-back had very little choice but to bring him down there.
And now it's Scotland who have concerns defensively over a set piece. Mladen Petric, wearing number 21, has a venomous left foot on him. Just ask England about that. Came off the bench to score the decisive goal to knock them out of Euro 2008. 10 minutes into the second half, has a wonderful opportunity to trouble Craig Gordon. Petric, deflected off the wall.
Well, it went through the wall, I think, Bill. I think that's the point that Craig Gordon's making. Did it go through the wall? Well, it did.
Dario Sona with the corner. Scotland need to stand strong defensively. Deflected through, awkward for Gordon. And what a terrific block away that was by Gary Caldwell. Goal-saving challenge there from Caldwell, and Miller is brought down.
Certainly was. A very decent stop initially from Craig Gordon, who must see this very late. Came through a ruck of bodies. Craig Gordon, I think, is fortunate he's got his angles spot on this. The challenge on Kenny Miller. Once again, we've got Craig Gordon to thank here. A lot of traffic in front of him. Took a couple of nicks on the way through. Did well to react quickly, and Gary Caldwell did brilliantly. Terrific challenge from Gary Caldwell. Craig Gordon at the top of his game, now under pressure, of course. And welcome pressure from Alan McGregor.
Changes afoot here for Croatia, freshen up the strike force, and a couple of players who have struggled with injury. Igor Budan, who plays his club football at Parma, has been out for the last 5 months, hasn't played a part in the closing stages of the qualification campaign. On he comes. And it has been a very difficult 18 months for Ivan Klasnic. Extraordinary story, really. 2 kidney transplants, one from either parent, donated, and finally he's back to playing football. Werder Bremen player didn't feature in the UEFA Cup tie against Rangers, but he's back here for country. And with the injury to Eduardo, if they can get Ivan Klasnic fit, he might just be an important cog in whatever Croatia can achieve in the lands of the mountains in the summer. Srna. Kranjčar. Modric.
Double substitution for Croatia.
Čoluka. Vukojevic, the first of 3 changes that Croatia have made so far. Modric. Srna. Looks for the free kick and gets it as well.
I think he was looking for Čoluka, expecting Čoluka to make the run down the outside into the space. Either way, it was caught well late here by Gary Naismith. Well, if Gary Naismith, yeah, he is yellow carded, no surprise there.
Friendly match, but that's the 5th yellow card that the Norwegian referee has shown so far.
Now, Craig Gordon just has to hope that his wall does a better job than it did a moment ago. Well, that's a bad challenge from Gary Naismith. Well, he wouldn't be happy about taking that in a friendly.
So Srna off getting treatment. Ivan Klasnic standing over it, so too Luka Modric. Kranjčar as well. This would favour Ivan Klasnic. It'll be a dream return, struck by Klasnic.
Just surprised they moved the ball. You know, they're so adept at set pieces. I just wonder why they move it here. Doesn't really get out his feet there, Klasnic.
Part of a lethal strike force that Werder Bremen had over the last couple of seasons alongside Miroslav Klose before he moved on. The ammunition fed for them by the former French international Johan Micoud. It was a fearsome strike force, took Werder Bremen very close to the last 8 of the Champions League a couple of years back when they were beaten by Juventus. Hour played, 1-1. Maloney for Scotland. 2 for company. And 2 as a crowd as far as he's concerned. Klasnic the target. Got there ahead of Hartley.
Now they've got a major problem here with Dario Srna, Croatia. I'd be surprised if he continues. He's still feeling the effects of that Gary Naismith challenge.
Here's Maloney. Scotland want to get Gary Naismith off the field. Seen Niko Kovac removed at half-time after he just upped the ante with a little confrontation with Scott Brown just before half-time. Both managers acting responsibly in that respect because there is a little bit of spikiness to this match. Brown. Hartley. Hutton. Round out of play there, Daniel Pranjic. Both Croatian bookings going to the Kovac brothers. And one of the recipients of a Scotland yellow card, Gary Naismith, replaced by Jay McEvely.
Substitution for Scotland. Number 3, Gary Naismith. Coming on, number 18, James McEvely.
Modric, Klasnic. Lunging challenge by Caldwell, which hasn't halted the Croatian forward flow. Cerna. Makeveli can only turn it behind his first telling contribution.
Well, I think the ball took a bobble there as Cerna tried to play it into the box. Still limping very heavily. Dario Cerna.
Soldiering on though, and determined to take this corner kick, but I don't think he'll get the chance to. Gioco Lecco will come on to replace him. Looks like Kranjčar's making his way across to take the corner. By Makeveli, Scotland haven't cleared it yet. Still haven't. Modric, clever ball in towards Kranjčar. What a good cross that was. The flag was up, so contact would have been in vain for Croatia.
Just a slight touch here from Gavin Ray here, who doesn't manage to get it clear. This touch here gives the ball away. Played into a good area. Well, very little in it, and they're queuing up at the back post.
Many Scottish managers over the last 30 years or so who have been victorious in their first games in charge. Alec McLeish, in fact, was the first since Tommy Docherty back in the early 1970s. Latest Scottish change is going to see the introduction of Gary Teale.
Substitution for Croatia, number 11, Dario Cerna, being replaced by number 16,
Makeveli, Choluka, Kovac. Here's Modric. Three Scotland players in close attendance, but even that wasn't enough. Free kick forfeited. And off comes Scott Brown. Just over an hour played for the Celtic man. Typically combative, as you'd expect, in that midfield area.
Number 8, Scott Brown, being replaced by number 17, Gary Teale.
Modric's flick. Ivan Klasnic. Modric. Very tight control for Croatia and possession preserved. Modric. Well, only couldn't get close. Choluka.
Couldn't quite get his foot around the ball. Scotland just trying to make it as difficult as possible for Croatia to pass the ball through him in the second half, looking a bit more compact Scotland without offering any threat at the other end.
Won 4 of their last 5 friendlies, just that blip against Holland last time out. And looking at their away record in friendly matches, pretty impressive as well. They've won their last 4. 100% record away from home in friendly matches since he took over in the summer of 2006 as Croatian manager Slaven Bilic. Bit of a fight on their hands as well, the Croatian FA, to keep hold of him, constantly linked with jobs elsewhere for clubs after the success. And this is a promising burst for Croatia, and it's a brilliant save from Craig Gordon.
Oh, what a reverse ball to get him in the first place, in behind this pass here. Wonderful pass. Craig Gordon, not for the first time tonight, gets his angle spot on. Just trying to beat him at his near post here. And the right hand did the job.
Croatia look the most likely to at the moment. Came off Caldwell. They get another corner that they can look to exploit here from Kranjčar. And that one didn't work out quite as they were hoping. Well, it's always an awkward time of a friendly match, isn't it, when so many changes are being made and you make changes yourself. Well aware of club commitments that players have coming up at the weekend. It's a stage of the match where momentum can often be lost, and so can concentration.
Well, I think he was put in an impossible situation before the ball was kicked because of the Old Firm game coming up, and he's got to be mindful that the Celtic boys out there, and they've got a huge game coming up at the weekend as well. It's a balancing act for George Burley.
And with a quarter of the match remaining, he'll have learnt plenty so far, and he'll have had reinforced what he knew already, I'm sure, in some departments. Miller, still full of running, trying to force another mistake from Kovac. That route to Scotland's equaliser after Kranjčar's opening goal in the first 10 minutes. Here's Hartley, dispossessed by Klasnic. Modric. You do get the feeling that Croatia have another goal in them. We've got Joko Leko getting forward.
It's not the worst ball in the world, but nobody getting around the back post.
Back again, the bounce just over the head of Modric. Beyond Budan.
He didn't make much of an effort, Budan, did he? Gave it up. But I think you're right, Bill. I think they do have another gear. If they had to find it, they probably would.
Another Celtic player withdrawn, I'm sure, with the weekend at mind. Gary Caldwell returned to the starting lineup for Scotland. Probably his most telling moment, a goal-saving challenge to take it away from a very goal mouth. Russell Anderson. Started the season at Sunderland and now playing his club football down at Plymouth Argyle's home park. On loan there till the end of the season. Simunic's clearance. Budan goes to ground. He's not going to get anything from Toji Hag, the referee. Hutton. Boyd is stripped and ready for action down on the sidelines here. I think he's going to come on for Molio in a moment. Before Scotland try and feel out Croatia to see if they can work their way forward. Hartley. Russell Anderson. Flag up against Kenny Miller, who must have been starting from an offside position. Bewildered look there.
Well, will he change the shape here? May go 4-4-2 here, George Burley.
Certainly the most popular change of the night so far here at Hampden with the Tartan Army.
Yeah, they have gone to a flat four. I think it's Darren Fletcher now going to play left side. 2 up.
Boyd's first contribution is to give away a free kick for a foul on Vukojevic. It's 5 substitutions now for Scotland, and Croatia duly make their 5th. Italian-based midfielder Dario Knežević coming on for Robert Kovac. Looks like a straight swap. He'll just fill in at the back there. Hooked away by Ray. Boyd. Ray, former Rangers teammates combining. It's cut out well by the new introduction. Well, it's encouraging, isn't it, Davey? You'll have learnt plenty about it. George Burley had his side opting defensively, and now in the closing 20 minutes they're going to have a little go at Croatia.
McKevley trying to pick out Kenny Miller.
Here's Hartley. Ran into Gary Teal and could have been more fluent from Scotland. Ray unable to hold on to it. Perfect pass, picked out of Klasnic, who's onside.
Lovely crossover run from the front two there to open up the inside left channel here. Little crossover here. Russell Anderson tucks in. He's caught with the ball up the outside of him. And neither the angle nor the pace right. The final ball lets Croatia down, but great movement from the two strikers.
Positive signs as they look for life after Eduardo. And Eduardo's club, Arsenal, in action in the Champions League, kicks off again next week. What a series of ties there are. Arsenal against Liverpool next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. See it Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Fenerbahce against Chelsea. That's Wednesday, 7:30 on Sky Sports 3. McKevley. Miller. Fletcher looking for Boyd. Boudan. Referee caught in a sandwich there, and then real congestion in the middle of the pitch. Throw in just bouncing out of play. It'll be a Scotland ball. Quarter of an hour to go, and plenty to be pleased with.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the first thing we say is that I doubt this is a friendly that George Burley would have taken on in his first game. He was left with no choice. It's been a real stern test. And I think so far Scotland have handled it pretty well.
Stern test, as you say, Davey, against a quality side and with one arm tied behind your back in terms of the availability of players. Early goal conceded as well. It could have all gone wrong, but the response has been positive in many ways.
I think he's also shown us tonight, George Burley, that you know, he can be cautious. He can play in the counter-attack when he thinks it's required. He's known to set up his side with a bit of a flourish, but he's been far more cautious tonight.
You do sense it's against his instincts when you look at the way he set up his club sides to go cautious, but needs must when you're playing against sides with superior individual quality, and in the likes of Holland. That's what Scotland are going to come up against in qualification. We saw it against Italy and France in the last group as well. Ultimate aim for the Burley era is to smooth the path to the World Cup in South Africa in 2010. It's up to him to blend the elements he has at his disposal into the unit which will get them there and do the job. As shown under Walter Smith and Alec McLeish, they can come close, they can compete and beat the best. But can they take that extra step and end what is a chasm now without top competition at a championship finals? Longest gap now for Scotland without a major tournament since the 58 to 74 World Cups. Russell Anderson rode the challenge. Teal looks for Fletcher. Cut out by Chorluka.
Oh, well defended, wasn't it? The weight of the header had to be spot on.
Budan. Klasnic. Kranjčar. Nico Kranjčar coming in waves here, the Croatian, but Kranjic can only stab too far.
Just wonder if he's done with the surface again. We've seen a few of them, a few slack crosses. I think the ball's sitting up just a little bit. Pitch here at Hampden, not the best at the moment.
Ray allows it to run, and running is exactly what Teal's doing. Hutton. Free kick, Scotland.
Oh, certainly caught well late there, Alan Hutton. He's got his free kick. It's been pretty feisty for a challenge match, has it not?
Well, they're not a country which will ever shirk a physical confrontation, Croatia. Ray. Over the head of Fletcher, looking for Boyd. And the free kick goes against him.
I thought for a moment Chris Boyd was going to do as usual. It must have been for a tug of the shot here. Just leaving the space here, Chris Boyd, to get into. Well, he's entitled to go for that, Chris Boyd. The ball is so low. The centre-back takes a sore one. But that's where Chris Boyd plays, within that width of the 6-yard box.
Wanted to clarify as well, there was only one thing in his mind there, which was to get his customary poacher's goal. Chorluka, though, with a brave stroke, foolish header to go in that low, and paying the price here.
I think when the ball is that low, Chris Boyd's entitled to go for it. Chorluka certainly took a sore one, but his head's almost on the ground there.
Did his rescue act for Rangers off the bench in the League Cup final. He's delivered on so many occasions. In fact, the last friendly they played on home soil up at Pittodrie. Won it for Alec McLeish there. With another goal, Slaven Bilic looks on as his Manchester City defender sees stars here at Hampden, no doubt. Don't really tend to deal in draws, Croatia under Slaven Bilic. 12 wins in their last 15 internationals, couple of defeats. One to Holland and the surprise one to Macedonia. The only draw, one of two they had in their qualification period, and that was home and away against Russia. Chorluka, rather gingerly, it has to be said, makes his way back onto the field. Full complement of Croatian players restored. Boyd, Ray. He's set off here, Budan, causing more problems to strike force, and it's put behind by McManus.
Well, he's just trying to find Klasnic at the back post here, but again this pass here. We've seen a few of them tonight, absolutely perfect in terms of weight. Trying to pick out Klasnic at the back post.
Klasnic glanced away. Still danger. Klasnic goes for goal. Back into the mix by Klasnic again. Vukocevic was in there. Modric, lovely weighted ball here for Budan.
It's a good block from Darren Fletcher. At times, Stephen McManus reluctant to clear the box, the deepest of the Scotland defenders there. He's playing 2 or 3 Croatian players on side.
Little spell of Croatian pressure here for Scotland to try and ride out. Kranjčar's corner. Looking to play it back to Modric there, but Boyd on hand to clear. Choluka, Niko Kranjčar, Modric. Luka Modric buffeted by Hartley, but still able to keep hold of the ball. They'll build from the back here through Dario Knežević. Vukojevic. Still one substitution available to Croatia and Slaven Bilic. Looks like they're going to use that up now. Dario Simic, their most ever capped international, is going to come on. Excellent burst this by Alan Hutton through the Croatian ranks. It's Chris Boyd! And it's turned behind by Pletikosa.
Well, so often we see that type of run from Alan Hutton when the game is late, when it's starting to stretch. He does brilliantly to get into space. Chris Boyd, if anything, wanted it just a little bit further in front of him. Ball sat up as he struck it. And George Burley thought for a moment there was a winner in that.
There may yet be. They're going to make a change here. Choluka, I'm sure, still feeling the effects of that clash with Boyd a moment ago, and on comes Dario Simic. Not a bad, experienced pair of hands to call on, coming on for his 97th cap for his country, the AC Milan defender. And defending is just what's required for Croatia here. Still pushing and shoving in there. You mentioned it already, David, the way the match has been played hasn't been much like a friendly at all, and that is, in anything, what the manager would want. It's been a very, very good examination in many ways.
It certainly has, yeah. I think George Burley knew that before the ball was kicked. There was a gap to be bridged here in terms of technique. Scotland have been well up for it.
Teal. Defended at the near post by the striker Igor Budan. A nudge in the back of Klasnic. Free kick for Scotland to defend. Simic. Like-for-like swap with Choluka. Just filling in at right back. Simic played all across the back line for AC Milan. Klasnic, this is Modric. Standout player in this Croatian side, no doubt about that. Vukojevic just skim its way through to Gordon.
Well, Gavin Ray did well to press. I think there is an area of concern in terms of the way we've defended tonight. These are the times we haven't managed to get out quickly enough to the ball.
Ray. Gordon glances down at the pitch as the ball sails away in its unexpected path. Partly from Scotland's point of view, in a predictable one, tidying up the mess. Simic bounces off Fletcher. Left out of the starting lineup, Dario Simic, because he hasn't really been playing much football at all for AC Milan in recent weeks. He'll hope to regain his place in time for the European Championships. June the 8th, it all kicks off for Croatia, the second day of competition in earnest, when they go to the stadium where the final will be played in Vienna and take on the joint hosts. Foul on Fletcher by Vukojevic, and another yellow card, number 6 of the evening.
I think had this been a competitive match, we could have seen a couple of red cards. Referee's done his best to try and keep the lid on it.
against man in the middle, Terje Haug. In the elite band of referees that's taken charge of a Champions League final, he was the referee who sent off Jens Lehmann in Arsenal's Champions League final defeat against Barcelona. Boyd buffeted, Croatia clear. Budan leaving a tired-looking Hartley in his wake. Could challenge that from Makeveli, but the Croatians will come again through Modric and Kranjčar. Klasnic waits in the middle. Too much on it for him. Drilled low by Prancic, bodies down all over the pitch. Save for Gordon to make. And they'll look to get some treatment on here for Igor Budan.
Really starting to stretch Scotland. I think George Butler would be disappointed were we to lose this. I know he's looking for a performance first and foremost, but he won't want to lose in his first match. Paul Hartley breaking his neck here to try and get back, but just not quick enough. Makeveli did well to tuck in there.
Might just see Slaven Bilic dusting himself down. Had a little bit of a slip, and now a wry smile. Looks a bit sheepish there, doesn't it? Well, it's been a good workout for his side as well. Last minute of normal time now. Kenny Miller. Hartley. They had the chance to steal it through Boyd. Can Scotland create another on a night where they haven't created a lot in front of goal? There he goes, Slaven Bilic. Fletcher able to cut it out before it reached Simic. Miller must be working on the reserve tank now as he takes on Modric. Almost seems to glide across the glass though, Luka Modric, doesn't he? Here he is again. Challenge, but still able to pick the pass into that 4 minutes of added time.
Just want to make sure that we don't give it away. We don't give up what is a decent result here, a draw against this side. Bit of tiredness starting to creep in. And with that usually comes a bit of slackness as well.
Kenny Miller. Advantage played. Alan Hutton. Thought he steams again. Came off him last. And just a goal kick for Croatia. Time for another change for Scotland. Hasn't got too far to go. Darren Fletcher over on this near side. Well, he must be running on empty. Spent a lot of the last few days in his sickbed. Graham Alexander comes on to see this one out. Looks like Makeveli's going to move forward on this left side with Alexander in at left back.
Pulled up very suddenly there, Darren Fletcher. We hope he's all right, because he did make the effort to travel north in the first place when he could have stayed down south. I think that's an effort that was appreciated by George Burley.
Singled him out yesterday, didn't he, as part of the competitive spirit that this squad possesses, even though there were a lot of cynical opinions as to the nature of the call-offs. Russell Anderson. Ray. Well, he was checked, but he's still going here, Ray. Away by Prancic.
Well, they defended the front post really well, Croatia. Chris Boyd, in as usual, sniffing around the front post as the ball came in.
Another yellow card as well. Not sure if that wasn't for the challenge on Ray as he went by. Seemed to be body checked, didn't he, on the way through? Miller. Just under 2 minutes of added time for Scotland to put a gloss on a very useful evening's work.
That's a nice time to get a corner. Finish the game in the opposition goal mouth.
McManus in there, he gets the touch, but it is wide from the Scotland captain.
It's not far wide, got decent pace on it as well. I don't know how he gets this clean, he's under so much pressure, eventually it drops off. Well, it's a decent header.
Just to confirm that yellow card for Josep Simunic.
Oh, just blocked Gavin Ray off here, they knew he was done for pace up the outside. Can't have too many complaints.
Just the one yellow card for Simunic, the player who so famously received 3 from Graham Poll during World Cup 2006, before he was sent off by the English referee. Teal, it's stolen away from him. Last 30 seconds of the match. Croatian burst comes to nothing. Anderson. Reasons to be cheerful on day one at the coalface of his new job. A real task laid down by Croatia here. Mutual respect between the two managers because they've had a good go at each other and ended up on level terms. Kranjčar had given Croatia the lead, but the excellent Kenny Miller equalised with his 11th for the country, which means we finish up here at Hampden. Scotland 1, Croatia 1.